Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's daily analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, everybody. Into the action we go today on this Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. And what a sell-off again. Over 1% drop on the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100. It was a nice down day, especially in the last 30 minutes. We saw a big sell-off as the market wants key support. All right, now we know that the spiders closed below that upsloping daily trend line. We're going to look at that in just a minute. But basically, the markets now are in a deleveraging period. All right, and again, this is where you have to start recognizing that you're going to get bounces. But now that we've broke that upsloping trend line, that channel on both the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P, the markets will ultimately go lower. So I want to be clear on this. You guys have seen me starting to accumulate some of these beaten down plays, and some of them actually were green today, like NET was green today. We saw some of the other ones as well that held up relatively well. Peloton had a nice day. That's what we have to do. I hope you guys see kind of the mentality behind what I'm doing. I'm not looking to pick up the NASDAQ, which is at, multi-decade highs, all-time highs, that's just down 10%. I'm looking at stocks that are down epically big, like 50, 60, 70%, like Peloton. Those are the ones where they've already been demolished. Those are the ones where I think that there's limited downside. And I say limited because, of course, there's still some downside. But limited downside where maybe they drop another 10 or 20%, but the upside is coming. The upside you will get. You will get a bounce in this stuff, and it will be a large bounce, all right? Bottom line is, it was another day of winners here at InTheMoneyStocks.com, so congratulations. We took profits on PDD. So again, Pinduoduo, a Chinese stock, and I still remember in December, everyone was fretting about the Chinese names. Take a look at this. Look at the rip on this thing, folks, starting in January from $47, hitting a high today of 60, almost 67. Almost a 50% move, folks, on Pinduoduo. And some of the other Chinese stocks are perking up. Some of them had decent days. There were a few that were down today as well. But again, you look at like an Alibaba. And let me get my chart back to the right size here. But Alibaba today just down a little bit on the day in this bloodbath of a market day. Baidu today, take a look there. That actually closed higher on the day. And then you can look at some of the other ones. Futu, F-U-T-U, which is kind of a online broker, up $1. That's a Chinese name. And look at that stock. Look at the bottom here. Beautiful little W and then a V pattern. That's a very bullish pattern as it continues up. You'll have a little bit of resistance around $50 on that. And then if it gets through that, it should fill the gap all the way up here to 67 or so. So again, you guys can see, I talked up the Chinese stocks. I said that these would be the great performers in 2022. I said gold stocks were going to be great performers. Newmont Mining, I had to take a little bit off the table of my gold positions here. So we obviously still have the GDX. We obviously still have the GLD. Monster move up. But how could I say no to taking, to removing Newmont Mining here and taking profits? Look at that rip today on Newmont, up 6%. What a move recently on these stocks. And again, I've gone on record, and I've gone on record in a big way, saying gold would be the biggest performer out of the trio of Bitcoin stocks, meaning the stock market, and gold. Gold would be the top performer in 2022, and we're already seeing it starting to play out. Now, granted, there's a long way to go. We're only 3 weeks into the year, but again, things are already starting to take shape. Everything I predicted starting to take shape, all right? So bottom line is, markets had a nasty sell-off today. Let's flip over to the Spiders daily chart. You can see again, here's your Spiders daily. Look at how you closed below that trend line yesterday. Look at what happened today. Now, check this out, guys, all right? So again, a lot of people would look at this and be like, oh my God, markets are going to crash. It's going to be so ugly. I don't think that way. I think that, yeah, you're in a downtrend now. You've obviously broken this, channel, right? If you zoom out, this is an obvious confirmed breakdown now, right? So you have this channel going all the way back, closed yesterday below, confirmed it today. It's confirmed. So the trend has changed. And notice how it's coinciding with this cycle, right? This is the new cycle that I had calculated out, even talked about it in late December. And now you're seeing that starting to play out. Having said that, there's definitely supports where you're going to get bounces, like right here. I mean, this is a huge level on the S&P 500 coming into play right around here. All right, so we're almost there. Now, again, what do I think is going to happen? Well, my guess is we're going to hit it, maybe as early as tomorrow, and then I think you're going to get a bounce, maybe all the way back to this upsloping trend line. All right, same thing can be said for the NASDAQ 100, right? NASDAQ 100 sold off, nasty sell-off again today, down over 1%, but if I throw on the moving averages, take a look at this, folks. Bear with me if I can get them up. And for some reason, they're not coming up. That's not a big deal. Bottom line is the QQQ 200 moving average is right around the 365 level. Look at where we are right now. We're at 366. So you are just a tiny bit away on the NASDAQ 100 from that 200 moving average. In addition, there's a major gap fill right down here, which is at 360. So maybe we pierce it tomorrow. I mean, there's always a chance we pierce it and win a panic sell-off and then see the bounce at that point. But ultimately, I do expect a bounce here. And I think you're already seeing it in stocks like Peloton, right? I mean, PTON, look at that, up 5% today. And look at the chart. It always drives me nuts because investors generally, and I'm not talking about you guys necessarily. I mean, you guys are here for a reason. You guys see the vision of learning technicals, learning the PPT methodology, focusing on that so you don't get emotional, right? But most other investors are so emotional, they would look at a chart like this and be too scared to get in. I mean, this is the exact time when you should be looking to get in. Technical support, and look at this technical support, guys. See all this chop right over here? All this beautiful chop? Just put a trend line there, put a trend line right in here. I mean, you're right in the midst. You're just coming into just epically big support right here from all this chop before it took off because of COVID, right? So you basically have undone the whole entire COVID move at this point. You're right back to where it was trading prior to COVID. Makes perfect sense why this would be major support, right? So anyways, my point is that using the charts allows us to get out of emotion, to focus on logic versus emotion, and that is the essence of making money in the markets, all right? And by no means are you always going to make money. I don't always make money on trades, but again, it's that high percentage, putting the probabilities in your favor that is going to get you through. All right, so again, going back to the Qs, I expect support on the Qs anywhere between 360 and 365. Look for me to unload my QID, likely maybe as early as tomorrow, and take profits there. UVXY, let's take a look at that one. That continued to have a nice little day here. We're deep in the money on this one. I may decide to take profits on that tomorrow if we dip substantially or dip some on the markets as well. So I'm going to start to pare back some of my shorts as we're starting to hit major moving averages like the Qs 200 moving average as well as major levels on the spiders. And again, I want to be clear. The markets are not going to go back, at least according to my calculations, they're not going to go back to all-time highs. Okay? But you likely are going to get a bounce soon in the market. We also have the Federal Reserve next week. So if we're still selling off by next Wednesday when the Fed comes out with their statement, chances are they're going to try to soothe the market and get the market rallying. Yields got almost as high as 1.9% today. They actually closed negative. If you start to see a pullback in yields, markets, especially tech stocks, should start to rally. Okay? So again, let's keep our wits and eyes about us. There's going to be new opportunities. I already have a list of new stocks that have been sold off so drastically that I want to buy. So be ready for new opportunities. We may add to positions if they go down a little bit more. That's why we start small. And let's just do what we do best. Follow the charts, ignore emotion, and buy major supports. Okay. All right. Let's go to the Russell because the Russell's actually getting very interesting here, guys. So take a look at the Russell here. All right, there's a technical support. There was a gap fill right here that hit. Let me get rid of these other lines because we're now getting on the lower end here. I don't want you to confuse you guys. But basically, there's a big support here, and then I have a major level right here on the Russell and a gap fill right here. The bottom, my point of bringing these up, so we pierced this first support. That's fine. I'm going to look to start to buy probably TNA right at this second line, and then we can add here at the third line. All right, so that's, and again, this is my general thought right now, obviously subject to change if the markets change, but this is what I'm thinking at this time. And again, the idea being is that you are going to get a Russell bounce here soon. All right, financials have been in the toilet because of earnings. That's taken the Russell down. Obviously, the market has been troublesome as well for the small caps, but ultimately, a lot of the small caps, I mean, like a Peloton. If that starts to bounce, if you start to see some of these others, like AI is another good one. I mean, look at that today, only down 26 cents or so. In fact, it closed at 26.80. It's at 26.71 after hours. So really, it was only down about 15 to 16 cents today on the day. All right. So, anyways, we'll have to watch and see. But again, that's just a good example of these stocks that have been beaten down, looking to get a bounce. I was a little disappointed in SE today. It was actually up decently to 174 and change, and then by the end of the day kind of closed down. Still right around lots of support down here. This is a big level right here, and then there's another very, very big level right down here on SE. All right, so that just summarizes that, folks. Next, I want to quickly go into Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to not do a whole lot, but considering the selling pressure in the market, I continue to think that's bullish. All right, so again, think about how much the market sold off between yesterday and today. So the NASDAQ 100 down 3.5% if you add yesterday and today, the sell-offs on those 2 days together. 3.5%. If you go back a week and you had a day like that, Bitcoin would have been down $3,000. It's basically unchanged for the last 2 days. So as long as you hold 40,000 support, I'm looking at this as actually the beginnings of a bull flag, folks. This is definitely something that's catching my eye in terms of bullish pattern of consolidation. So again, what I'm talking about here is if you look at this right here, okay, and then we do it again with a good old-fashioned one underneath, that to me looks a little like bullish consolidation off this low. If we can break above that, then I think, again, 46,000 is still in play. Now, if it takes out this low and starts trading below 39.5, which was the low of this tail, then that's off the table, right? So you always have to look at kind of both sides of the coin to kind of, see exactly what the heck could happen in either scenario. All right, so that's that, folks. Gold today, just an awesome move here, guys. Absolutely awesome on gold. Look at that. Potential close right around or above that trend line. Very cool to see. You guys know I've been probably screaming gold, gold, gold for the last 3 or 4 months about as loud as I can. And sure enough, we are starting to see it play out. So beautiful move on gold, folks. If this does continue up and confirms a breakout, you should see a pretty aggressive move to the upside on gold, possibly up to, 195 or so on the GLD, which was that high going back to, I think, 2020. All right, and then again, if we eventually, I think we take that out, and before the year end, we could be 2,600, maybe even 3,000. 3,000 is really aggressive, frankly. I'm kind of leaning more towards 2,600, but again, there's always a chance. The high end, you always want to have targets at the very high end, which is like the perfect scenario, and then you can have them at the low end as well. All right. Silver also had an awesome day here. Silver, look at silver. It's now testing this line. So it blew right through this resistance yesterday. And now, just like that, you're into this resistance here, which is a very, very big one if you go to this chart here and use this down-sloping trend line. So this is a big, big level on silver, folks. Epically big. All right, now again, probably a consolidation pullback will come into play, but just be aware that ultimately I think eventually silver is going to break out just like gold. I mean, it would be very rare for gold to break out and silver not to break out. All right, lastly, oil, guys. Oil actually very interesting today. Did put in a USO topping tail. All right, so now we're starting to see the potential of what the heck I was talking about in terms of the double top on the WTI chart. In fact, I can bring that up again, folks. We'll look at the other chart here with WTI. All right, let's bring up this one here. And again, look at this here. Here was your double top, and what's crazy about it is you closed above your double top, but let me ask you a question. Did it confirm? And if you've taken the Elite Keys to Unlimited Success webinar, you know it did not, which could be a fake out from institutions, and it sure as heck looks like that right now with a topping tail on WTI. All right, so again, learn the confirmation signal. So important to learn that confirmation signal. And again, if you want to take the Elite Keys, I think it's like $700 or $800. Instead, think about doing the $2,100 deal, folks. We are offering it again to you guys in Verified Investing Alerts. And again, basically, if you go to the Elite Education page, it covers, for $2,100, it covers every webinar on that page with access for a full year. To put that in perspective, it saves you basically $3,000. And if you buy them separately, you only get 30-day access. So again, a year of access, meaning you can watch it once a quarter, 4 times, or you can watch it once a month. But ultimately, you get to perfect that stuff. You get to watch it. You get to drill it into your brain. And again, it's every webinar on that page for $2,100. It's a steal of a deal. It's the best deal we've ever offered, and we'll never offer anything better. All right, bottom line is you guys can see what's going on with the charts and how well it works. I encourage you to take a look and actually educate yourselves. It'll be the best investment you can ever make, to be honest, even better than taking the trades that I give out. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks as always. Sorry for the late video. I just had some family stuff going on that I had to deal with there and do a few things. But again, I will always get you guys out a video. And if I can't, for some weird reason, I will always let you guys know. Have a good one. Take care.